Hello everybody, and welcome back to Certified Collectibles. This is another episode of First Appearances of the Week. This is Wednesday, October 20th, 2021. We'll be giving you all the first appearances hitting your comic shops today. Now this week we have about 9 first appearances and 5 honorable mentions, so 14 titles on all to go through, so a pretty good amount of books this week. Let's go ahead and get started for the first appearances of the week ending October 22nd, 2021. First up from DC Comics, Nubia and the Amazons #1. This features the first appearance of the new Amazons and the first appearance of Andromeda. Now this is one you may want to pick up because the Amazons, Wonder Woman, are a rather popular franchise for DC Comics, but this is the first appearance of the new Amazons and the first appearance of Andromeda. We really don't know how important they're going to be in the DC universe, or if DC is actually going to spin them off into a small screen or big screen project. So this is going to be more of a speculative bet if you do pick this one up, but for the cover price, it may be worth doing so. But this is one you can also put on your B list. We'll leave this up to you. Do some research before you get this one, but this may be a good spec item. Next up from DC Comics, Black Manta #2. This features the first appearance of Devil Ray. This is part of the Aquaman universe. Aquaman is one of the more popular franchises for DC Comics, mostly due to the feature films. So if they bring Devil Ray into the feature films, make a big deal out of him, this may be one worth picking up. This is more of a speculative bet. You can put this one on your B list. If you want to spec on it, for the cover price, it may be worth it. Next up from DC Comics, Catwoman Lonely City #2. This features the first team appearance of Bat Cops and the first mention of Orpheus. This is a 4-issue limited series in the Prestige Plus format. Now, this is another one, you may want to put this on your B list. This is a Catwoman title. Even though that is part of the Batman universe, Catwoman is not necessarily incredibly popular with collectors. This is one you may want to spec on, but you can probably put this one on your B list for now. Next up from DC Comics, Green Lantern #7. This features the first appearance of the Lightbringer. Now, the Green Lantern franchise isn't necessarily incredibly popular with fans and collectors right now. That doesn't mean it won't be in the future, but this character Lightbringer, we have heard quite a bit about this particular character, so this is one we do think is worth specking on. You might want to pick this one up. Next up from DC Comics, Suicide Squad King Shark #2. This features the first full appearance of Queen Tiger. Now, the King Shark franchise, part of the Suicide Squad team, this is definitely going to be a speculative bet if you choose to pick this one up. You know, it all depends on how popular King Shark becomes, and this is the first appearance of Queen Tiger. This is a speculative bet, we believe. You might want to put this one on your B list for now. If you don't want to spec on it, go ahead and pick this one up. Now, next up from Marvel Comics, Death of Doctor Strange #2. This features the first team appearance of the Three Mothers. Like we always say, it's a good idea to pick up any Marvel first appearances, and this is the first team appearance of the Three Mothers. Knowing how the MCU works, they might bring the Three Mothers into a feature film. This is one we think is worth specking on. You should probably pick this one up for the cover price. Now next up from Marvel Comics, Phoenix Song Echo #1. This features the first appearance of River, an ally of Echo. Now, we always say pick up the first appearances of new characters in any Marvel title. You don't know where they're going to go, what Marvel's going to do with them, if they're going to appear on a small screen project or big screen project. This is probably one we're specking on. This is the first appearance of River. We really don't know what Marvel plans on doing with this character. If it becomes big, you're sitting on a winner. If not, you're out a couple bucks. So we think this is probably worth specking on. Next up from Marvel Comics, Star Wars The High Republic #10. This features a possible first full appearance of Lorna Dee. Now, this is one you definitely want to do a little bit more research on before you pick this one up. This is a possible first full appearance. Since this book is not on the shelf yet, we don't have confirmation of that. But if this is the first full appearance of Lorna Dee, this is one you definitely want to pick up. Any Marvel title that features the first appearance of new characters, and any Star Wars titles that has new characters, these are ones you want to add to your collection. And finally from Marvel Comics, United States of Captain America #5. This features the first appearance of Captain America, Jeremy Merrick, an active duty Air Force soldier inspired by an individual that the writer met 20 years ago while working as a production assistant on a documentary. Now this is one you definitely want to pick up. First appearance of a Marvel character, the first appearance of a new Captain America character. This is one we do think is worth adding to your collection. Now for the honorable mentions. From Image Comics, Ant #1. Eric Larson purchased the rights to Ant, and this is the reintroduction and new origin of Ant. The way they're pushing this character in this title, they may be planning something with this, either a small screen or a big screen project. This one here may be worth picking up. This might be a speculative bet, but if it goes somewhere, you're sitting on a winner. If not, you're out a couple bucks. This is worth picking up. Next up from Image Comics, Gunslinger Spawn #1. Now this is the premiere issue of the second Spawn universe title featuring the Gunslinger. This is one we do think is worth picking up. Now, these Spawn titles, these Spawn #1s, are definitely going to be heavily collected, so it's worth picking this up for the cover price. You might have to wait a while for these to appreciate because, like I said, everyone is going to be picking these up for speculation. But if this goes somewhere, for a couple bucks, you're sitting on a winner. If not, you're out a couple bucks. This is one, though, we do think you should pick up and add. Next up from Titan Comics, Gun Hunting #1 second print. Now, this is the second printing. This is limited to 2,000 copies. We did a video a few weeks ago on Gun Hunting #1. This is one you definitely want to add to your collection if you can find it. Gun Hunting #1 and the second print edition. There'll probably be a third print edition as well. These are ones you want to pick up and add. Gun Hunting has already been picked up, so this is one to add to your collection. Next up from DC Comics, Batman Secret Files Peacekeeper 01 #1. Now this features the origin of Peacekeeper 01. This is part of the Batman universe, but this is an origin story, not the introduction of a new character. And this is Peacekeeper 01's origin. This may be one you want to put on your B-list for now. Keep an eye on it, but you can take a look at it later. And finally from DC Black Label, Refrigerator Full of Heads #1. This is one of the Hill House Comics imprints. Off the coast of Brody Island, the mysterious axe that unleashed pandemonium during the hurricane of '83 has waited at the bottom of the bay, but nothing that powerful stays buried forever. Now this is one that may be worth specking on. Some of these DC Black Label titles, and especially these horror titles, are not going to be as heavily collected as the superhero titles, so this one may be worth picking up, hanging on to for a while, but this is definitely a spec item or a B-list item. Give it some consideration, but you can address it later on. So there you have the 14 titles that we have for you guys this week. 9 first appearances and 5 honorable mentions. Please feel free to drop some comments in the comment section below. Thumbs up if you like this video. And as always, please remember to subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Thank you for joining us here at Certified Collectibles, and we'll see you again next time.